Hey guys, this is Vinny Productions again. YouTube cut me short on time last time, and I was just getting into the details of the game, other than story. So, the game's pretty basic, really. I mean, when it was first announced, there was this huge deal about how this would be the very first free-roaming game, and how it's going to be this ultimate, unbelievably amazing, RPG. Well, let me tell you my opinion. This game is amazing. Alright? It is. Now, it's not as good as it's cut out to be. Fable 2 and Fable 3 probably are. And when I say probably, I mean I've played Fable 2, I haven't played Fable 3 yet. So, Fable 2 is, and Fable 3, probably is. But in this game, there's so many free-roaming things you can't do. Example, like I said in the last video, you can cut off from the major story, and go on your own little quest. You really don't have to follow the story at all, though I recommend it. But there's so many other things that you can't do that you would think would be amazing for a RPG like this. First off, you can't have kids. That was fixed in Fable 2, but you cannot have kids in this game. And you can't really watch them grow either. Of course, I never watched my kids grow on Fable 2 because I'd always either end up cheating on my wife or she'd leave me. So, excuse me, I've got a little cough today. I'm sorry, hold on. Excuse me again. So, again, this is a PC game I have. The Xbox game is pretty much the same thing. I have the PC game. And there's strength, there's skill, there's will. Skill is like targeting with a bow and arrow. Strength is like how hard you swing your sword. And will is like using magic. Now, by far, strength is the best. Because skill, I felt very limited with the bow. That's not as bad on Fable 2, but in Fable 1 I felt very limited with the bow and arrow. Plus will is always good to have, but it'll never be able to hoard off entire armies of, undead or whatever the monster is. So, you can't have kids. Another thing, you're very limited with what you can do. Your character can't really talk. But you have like these little icons that you can do, like you can pass gas, burp, compliment them, talk about them. So it's not very limited, but they could have made that a lot more diverse. Now mind you, this is like a 2001, maybe 2000, no, it's like a 2003 or 4 game or so. So I understand why it's limited, but you would still think, as big of a deal as they made it out to be, it could have been a little bit bigger. But my major problem with it is that it's not as free-roaming. Fable 2 is amazingly better as far as, freely walking around and such. But that's a story for an entirely different review, because I'm reviewing Fable 1, not Fable 2, and I'm sorry that I've been going off topic on it right now. I've lost my train of thought, sort of. So, overall, it is very diverse, though it's not as diverse as it could have been. But does this game not being unbelievably diverse mean that it's a bad game? Oh my goodness, no. Fable: The Lost Chapters is a great game. I myself found a lot of time spent into developing one of the skills, which I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's where you can like pick locks and break into shops. So I have a bad profile and I have a good profile. On my bad profile, I would completely develop that skill, and I would go to Oakvale and I would, break the lock and go and steal stuff from the weapon shop or wherever and sell it the next morning. And I found that to be surprisingly addictive. You may be listening to me rolling your eyes and saying, you don't know what you're talking about, or that, I'm being stupid, but it really was addictive for me. Now, I've played Fable 2. I've beaten Fable 2. It wasn't my game, but still. And it is much more diverse as far as replay value. Because with Fable The Lost Chapters, once you beat the story, you've likely already played it over half the time that you will play it all together. Now, maybe not completely in the entire game, but on that one profile, probably. But, I'm sure there are people who have proved me wrong in that aspect, but for me, that's the case. But, despite the limited replay value, the story is great. The weapons and armor are amazing, and though the replay value isn't as grand as I would like for it to be, it's still a pretty good, a pretty good replay value. And because of that, I'm going to give Fable The Lost Chapters a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my review, and I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time,